Hello and welcome back to the Championship Review. It's been a very interesting week this week, so let's get into it. Strap yourselves in as this is going to be a good one. Starting off at Kenilworth Road, it's Luton 1, QPR 2, and this is a disastrous start for Luton Town. What is going on? Despite their domination really throughout the game, QPR had one major spell of domination throughout the game and they scored both their goals in that time. With Michael Frey getting a goal and an assist, he was unplayable today. Luton just couldn't handle him. However, throughout the rest of the game, they created plenty of chances, having 11 shots and 5 on target and having almost double the XG of QPR. But despite that, they could only score one goal to QPR's 2. It's a disappointing performance. Looking at this attack force, I'm not sure what's going wrong really. They were scoring goals pretty easily in the Premier League, so I thought as they'd come down, they'd find it a pretty easy league. And Adebayo and Carlton Morris, I thought they'd be scoring for fun, but they're really struggling. But looking at this QPR team, they played really well, to be honest. They defended well against a lot of Luton Town chances. Luton had more of the ball, but QPR defended well, and they also created a lot of chances, which caused obviously their 2 goals. Michael Frey being clinical in the box. Lovely performance from him. So it's disappointing from Luton, and if Luton don't sort something out soon, it could be a pretty poor season from them. I can't see them doing that bad, but I think anything outside of the playoffs is a failure for them this season, so they need to kick it up soon. And moving on to the first game of Saturday, we have Burnley 1, Blackburn 1, and the main thing from this game, Andy Weimann, what a strike from you. Absolutely unbelievable strike. Top corner. What a player he is. That definitely a contender for goal of the month, if not goal of the season. Mac Targay getting another assist, 3 for him already this season. However, he does get a red card, which is very unfortunate for Blackburn, as he's going to miss the next game. Lyle Foster getting his first goal of the season, very important for Burnley, as they're going to look to want to push forward and back into the Premier League, and to do so, Lyle Foster's going to have to be scoring. With Jaden Anthony getting an assist, he's played under Scott Parker before, he is a very good player. He's played his best football under Scott Parker. Scott Parker knows how to get the best out of him, and hopefully he will do this season, and we'll see Jaden Anthony back to his best. Blackburn yet again not losing. They're unbeaten so far this season, very surprising to a lot of people, and unbeaten in 4 is still very promising from them. Obviously they have conceded 6 goals in 4 games, which is quite disappointing. They concede a lot, but they also do score a lot, scoring 9 in 4 as well. Obviously 4 of those coming against Derby, but still unbeaten, very impressive from Blackburn. And Burnley also not doing too bad themselves, so it's a decent point for both teams. And after 2 disappointing results after the last 2 games, Middlesbrough do get the win again. Matthew Clark getting his second goal in his last 2 championship games. He is a huge threat from corners. Cardiff though, it is looking very worrying for them. Looking at that team, I'm not sure who's their standout performer. Aaron Ramsey been playing quite well this season despite their losses. However, this game, quite disappointing. Obviously, he got the own goal, but apart from that, didn't create too many chances. He's still a quality player, and I'm sure he'll help them this season. I'm hoping next game they still fail to win, as you know, it's against Derby. And at this rate, I wouldn't be surprised if I see them go down. They've not really got much spark. They don't really create much. They had a lot of shots, but poor shooting. Only 3 on target out of 12. And out of 12 shots, only 0.55 XG. It's pretty disappointing from them. But Middlesbrough expected to get some points on the board. They played brilliantly in both of their last 2 games, despite not getting a win, and I can see them doing very well this season. Their play is lovely, play first time football a lot of the time around the edge of the box, just working their way in, and I think it's a great performance from them. It's a very important win, and it's 2-0 to Middlesbrough. And despite their high XG, Coventry failed to get any points against Norwich, as Norwich take the 3 points, winning 1-0. Quite an even game, to be honest, in terms of domination wise. They both had spells where they dominated the ball and created more chances. However, XG wise, Coventry dominated in that regard, and it wasn't very close, 1.15 to 0.4. Norwich needed that win, really. Norwich's first win of the season. Coventry though, looking at that team, I think they should be getting all 3 points here. Haji Wright, not having his greatest performance, only registering 2 shots. Sakamoto only having 1 shot, only having 1 on target, and Ellis Sims having a pretty good chance to score, however, well saved by the goalkeeper. Angus Gunn having a class performance. He made plenty of saves. He really was the reason Norwich won this game, apart from Carlos Sainz, who got their goal. Norwich, I'm sure, are going to be comfortable this season, but I don't think they're going to do that well. I think they'll be comfortably around the middle, if not pushing to that top half of the table. However, Coventry, I would like to think, will be pushing for those playoff positions, if not comfortably in them. So it's disappointing from Coventry. Norwich, I'm sure, will be very happy with that performance. Oh, and how I was looking forward to talking about this one. Derby County 3, Bristol City 0, and what a performance from Derby. First 20 minutes, Bristol City controlled the game and they created some good chances. Armstrong probably could have scored, but Zetterstrom making multiple good saves. After those 20 minutes, Bristol City did very little to threaten Derby, and Derby dominated completely. David Ozo dominating that midfield, running through everyone he needed to. He was unbelievable. Kenzo Halbmine getting his first goal of the season. What a goal it was. He could have scored 5 minutes earlier after a lovely link up between Jerry Yates and Nathaniel Mendez-Lang. Jason Knight and Max Bird doing nothing against Derby, their former club. I'm sure they will be regretting their decision to leave. When Derby did create chances, there were a lot of mistakes around the back. Mendez-Lang comfortably chipped it over the goalkeeper and unfortunately just hit the post from just outside the box. It wasn't an easy shot, but one maybe he should have scored, and one he might look back on unfavourably. But Derby, what unbelievable. If they keep that up, there's no way they'll be in that relegation fight. If you're great at home, but they do need to step up their away form just a bit, as obviously without a point on the road. I'm sure that will hopefully change in the near future, but warning signs for Bristol City as they lose 3-0 to Derby County. And it's a comfortable win for Leeds United, who take home all 3 points against Hull City. They dominated the game really, limited Hull to quite little chances. Hull having 9 shots, but quite a few of them coming around the edge or just outside the box, limiting them to very few touches inside the box. And when they did, their shooting was quite poor. Didn't really get many shots on target from the best opportunities that they did have. However, Leeds just look really good. Their team, Matteo Joseph up top, he looks to be a class striker. But also, Manol Solomon, what a loan signing that is from Tottenham. It will be exciting to see how good he can be for them. But also Willy Gnonto on the other side, at only 20 years old, he is an unbelievable player. Looking at the Hull City side, I don't think it's a very worrying performance from them. Playing against Leeds, you're not going to be expected to come away with anything really. However, it might be worrying if you look at the points tallies. They've only registered 3 due to the 3 draws, and they're without a win, only scoring 2 goals in 4 games. It is looking quite worrying, but they've only conceded 4 as well, so it looks like they're pretty poor at scoring but also very good at defending. So with that record, I don't think they'll go down, but I don't think they'll be comfortable with it either. I think if they keep this up, they could be challenging around the relegation battle. The season very disappointing, but it might be what they'll have to settle with. And this is one that I was not expecting, as Millwall score 3 past Sheffield Wednesday as they win 3-0. Sheffield Wednesday, after that first performance of the season against Plymouth, I thought they looked like a very good side. I thought they were going to do great this season. But since then, that's 3 losses on the bounce. And conceding 3 against Millwall, it could be quite worrying for them. They let Millwall create so many chances. Millwall having 18 shots, only 4 on target, which is very disappointing. But the chances that Millwall did create, and all 3 goals coming within 5 yards from the goal line, is very poor. They've got to defend better in their box. It's very poor. They're letting the chances right in front of the goal line. If a striker touches that, it's going to go in. Beadle not having a great game, conceding the 3 goals. But also, Wednesday didn't help him in any way either, as they barely created any attacks. They had more of the ball, 61% possession, but only 4 shots. That is just awful performance. Very poor, and it's very worrying from Wednesday. I'm sure some of their fans might start to get a little worried, as going into the break, they're without a win in 3, without a point in 3. And QPR next, who just got a great win against Luton. I'm sure it's not going to be an easy game there. Obviously back at home, but they're going to need to turn things around if they want to push on this season. It's Millwall 3, Sheffield Wednesday 0. And Oxford still defying all odds as they win 3-1 against Preston North End. It's exciting times for Oxford. That puts them up to 2 wins and 2 losses, the same as also recently promoted side Derby, and I think both teams will be very happy with that after the first 4 games. A 3-1 win, 3 goals, and yet again Mark Harris with another. He's looked great, 4 goals now. He's got 1 goal every single championship game as of now, and I think that's very inspiring, and I think he'll be a great part of the team this season if he can keep his form up. I wouldn't really think they'll be in that relegation battle too deeply. Yes, I'm not saying they're not going to be in it, but I think they'll be one of the higher teams, maybe nestling in around 19th place if they can keep this form, but especially where Preston look to be a very poor team. Obviously, Preston get the first goal, but scoring in the 3rd minute isn't always the best thing, as it just leaves you with a lot of time to defend. And Oxford didn't create too many chances, or too many shots, might I say. Only 10, but to score 3 goals from that, 5 shots on target, very clinical from them. Very dangerous team. Preston created about the same amount of chances and had about the same amount of the ball, but Oxford were just clinical. Oxford took their chances a lot better than Preston. Preston only 2 goals in 4 games. Looks very poor, and they've conceded 8. They do not look to be a very inspiring team at all. However, there are 3 other teams that still are without a win, which is very worrying for them, and so they are not in the relegation zone as of yet. But Oxford United should be very happy with that performance, and I'm sure that it's a great performance to lead them into the international break. And Stoke hold on to take all 3 points away from Plymouth as they get the win, 1-0 to them. First off, I think we've got to talk about Victor Johansson. This is what he was brought in for. We knew how good of a shot stopper he was, and made 7 saves, facing an XG of 1.23, and making 7 saves and keeping them at 1-0. Very important from him. Million Manhoef, if that's how you pronounce it. He gets his first goal of the championship season. Already got 2 assists. He looks to be a very good player. And he got 2 goals against Middlesbrough in the Cup. And I'm thinking and looking at that Stoke side, I know obviously it was a heavily rotated Middlesbrough side for the Cup, but looking at it, Matt Clark and Luke Ayling are 2 players that do start in the defence in the Championship. And Stoke managed to score 5 against them. I think Stoke looked to be very exciting. A lot of young talent. Looking at the average age of Stoke, their team 22.7. Their front 4 having an 18-year-old and a 21-year-old, their midfield consisting of a 20-year-old, and their defence consisting of a 19-year-old as well. I think it's a very exciting team. However, a lot of them are on loan, which is the scary thing for them, because obviously if they don't do well or they don't get promoted, a lot of these players are going to leave next season and they're not going to come back. But still, these players could help them get promoted or potentially get in the fight for it. I think it's a good win from them. Plymouth not playing too bad, to be honest, creating a lot of chances, 15 shots, 7 on target, the same as Stoke. Their shots, obviously, a lot of them saved by Victor Johansson. It was a great performance from Johansson. But it's looking up for Plymouth. A decent performance from them, and it might help their worries and thinking that maybe they do have a chance of survival. But Stoke get all 3 points this time. And it's another win for West Brom as they win 1-0 against Swansea City. I think this was expected. West Brom, a very good side, and they dominated the whole game almost. 2.4 XG to Swansea's 0.46, having triple their amount of shots. It was pretty likely they were going to win this. However, Swansea didn't make it easy for them. Vigouroux making 4 saves. A lot of XG faced, and I think the defence did quite well. A lot of some of Vigouroux's saves were very good, and I think West Brom unlucky not to win by more, but it's not a poor performance from Swansea by any means against a very good West Brom side. It's not embarrassing to choose. Also, West Brom did miss quite a few chances as well, which is a bit of the poor part. But a lot of shots were also blocked. But they had chances they probably should have put away that were put wide or over the bar. And that is part of the reason why they did only win 1-0. But the Swansea, they've got 1 win. For Swansea, they're on 4 points out of a possible 12. Not an awful performance. And I'm sure it won't worry the Swansea fans at all. They created chances. They had some decent shots, but well saved by Alex Palmer in goal. Not too many shots for him to save, only about 2 or 3 were on target, and he made a couple of, and he saved them all. But it's a good performance from West Brom. I'm sure they are going to threaten the top 2 this season, as well as a couple of the teams around them. But not worrying from Swansea at all. It's a decent performance. It's 1-0 West Brom. And that is all for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.